for the enemy. And you know what's cool? He takes it even a step further because he's not praying for himself to be able to forgive the enemy. It's as if he already did that. It's praying directly to God that he would forgive his enemies, for they know not what they do. His relationship with God was just so beautiful. We're going to skip to John, and this is going to be John 11. Now, this is really an amazing story, and I'm going to start in 11:14, and this is just going to be a tease, so we're getting to the next day. So, y'all know the story of Lazarus, right? Okay, y'all still with me? We're studying the Bible, y'all. We're going all around this. Okay, so the story of Lazarus is amazing, right? But before it was amazing, it was really tragic because their friend died. And so they're heading to see Lazarus in his tomb, and they're mad at Jesus because they said, Jesus, if you would have been there, he wouldn't have died. Now, that seems kind of funny because they're like, they know you could have raised him, from the dead. He didn't have to die. And they're literally mad at Jesus. And Jesus says this to them, which is so funny because I don't know if I can say this, but it's kind of sassy. Like, it is awesome. It's like Jesus is like, hold up a second. He says, Lazarus has died, and for your sake, I'm glad. Burn. For your sake, I'm glad that I was not there, so that you may believe, but let us go to him. Isn't that so awesome that he's like, I'm actually glad I wasn't there because now you have an opportunity to believe. And without this opportunity to believe, then you might not have the faith to believe what actually God is capable of doing. And some of you are in situations that are extremely tough. And I hate that you're in that situation. And I'm not saying I'm glad that you're in that situation. Of course, I'm not glad that you're in that situation. But what I do believe about that situation is that it's giving you an opportunity to believe for God and something that only God is capable of doing. And in this moment, this is what Jesus is saying. Tough times are hard, but man, it's a time to lean in. It's an opportunity to see what God's going to do. And so Jesus shows up, and Jesus wept. This is the verse where Jesus wept. So he's sad about this. Again, he's human. His friends are mad at him. You should have been there. He might even feel guilty. Maybe if I was there, we wouldn't have to be going through this. He's crying. And then verse 38, it says again, Jesus is deeply moved. So he goes to the tomb, and it was a cave. And he says, take the stone away. And Martha, the dead man's sister, says the odor is going to be there. He's been dead for 4 days. He's like, I don't want to open this. And Jesus said, did I not tell you that if you believed, you would see the glory of God? So he's referencing back. So this is verse 40. That was verse 14. And there's time in between this. They're going all the way there. 4 days have passed. And he's saying, did I not tell you? Did I not tell you that if you would believe for this, then you are about to get to see God do something amazing? And so they took away the stone, and Jesus lifted up his eyes to heaven and said, Father, I thank you that you have heard me. I know that you always hear me, but I said this on account of the people standing around me so that they may believe. And I love this because Jesus is basically saying, I know you hear me. I know you're good. I know you're good even in this situation, but I'm doing this so that they know it. And I want to point that out because sometimes our prayer isn't just for us, but it's for the people around us. It's not just for us to increase our faith and our belief, but it's for the people around us to increase theirs as they see our belief and knowing that God is capable of doing exceedingly and abundantly more. And then he says, Lazarus, come out. And he does. And everyone there gets to see what his belief brought forth. The next verse is kind of a very similar vein.